Dolly friends. Thank you so much for stopping by to enjoy some Twisselman family adventures today. Hans and Millie really enjoy preparing for the holidays as soon as November rolls around, so they've asked me to gather some of their Christmas adornments from the attic. Unfortunately, there is no attic, so I had to create one. They've also asked me for their traditional tree, which has been in the family for years. It's tucked away in a corner somewhere, but if you come back Friday, I'll show it to you. Today, I'll show you some of these ornaments and how they were created. But first, I have a challenge because Millie has also asked me to bring down the parlor furniture her great-grandparents Mildred and Klaus had when they first moved to Whistleby. I didn't have the heart to tell them that some of that furniture perished in the great 1906 quake. I'm going to have to find a way to change some of the contemporary reproductions and give them a more Victorian flavor. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these pieces to put in your doll's house parlor. I was trying to find a way to create a more aged, kind of that orangish pink look that red velvet has over time. I'm just using bleach right out of the bottle to get the look that I was going for, so I'm really pleased about that. I'm gonna move on to the sofa and see how that looks. I also took the liberty of putting some bleach on the finish to kind of wash that out a little bit, because you know how all that furniture has that highly glazed look, which I don't particularly care for. And it did help a little bit. Here's what it looks like. And I put the other one in the background so you could see kind of what they were like before, but I think we're all very familiar with these pieces. Hopefully Millie won't be disappointed that these are the same pieces she already had in her parlor. I just wanted to play around a little bit with changing some things in the parlor. I always give you the view from the other side so you could see the dolls, but I think I'm gonna show you a little bit more. So I'm just playing a little bit to see where I want to put things, and I've left the space in the back right corner there where the tree is going to go. It is getting a bit crowded in Whistleby. Lodgings will need to be expanded soon. When creating some of the ornaments, I decided to use this book that I got from the estate sale. It has lots of Victorian images, and paper was common on the trees in the Victorian times. After I cut some of the pieces out, I realized that I needed to put something on the back, and I decided to just decoupage some tissue paper. I may put another layer, and I think I might put some glitter on there too. So I'm just letting that dry. I think I'm going to make some cones also. I've also decided this little bit of grapes, orange clusters, will be perfect for ornament. They're just the right size and they're already sugared, which would have been common. So I'm gonna do a few of those. I used my hand drill to drill some holes before I took it apart. I thought it might be easier. I'm going to put a little ring so I can add hooks later, but I'm gonna have to use the microwave to get this apart. I'm not quite sure what it's made of. Well, I'll tell you what it's made of. It's made of plaster. So they didn't come whole, but I actually kind of like this. I'm going to use some decoupage and just add some tissue paper. You can see I also started adding my rings. I use this glass, it's like glitter, but it's glass, to put on the oranges. And I also added the little rings, which you can see there. And I also added some green glitter to give the semblance of a leaf. So yeah, I didn't quite get the look I was going for, but I think on the tree it'll be okay. These are some birds on little pegs that I have. They go in those ceramic trees. They're actually only about 1/2 inch. They look a little larger here, but I thought I would cut off the peg and attach them to these little jewelry findings so it looks like one of those little clip-on ornaments. And I like the way they turned out. I also have these candles. I bought them at an estate sale before I was doing minis, and they don't have a wick. They actually do light, and you're supposed to float them in this little disc. They're a little bit bizarre. I think they're from the 1940s. So I've just added a strand of embroidery floss, and I did light them a little bit to melt them and give them a little look as though they've been used, and put them in these little jewelry findings. I made some hooks, and I actually added some paint to sort of age them a little bit. You can see my cones there in the background. And I have this little box of Christmas things, and I thought I would go through it to see if I could find some other things that Hans and Millie might use. I buy vintage trims and pieces, especially vintage garland, which is really just has an amazing look to it. So you can find these things and keep a little stash and use them in your mini making, or even in your regular decorating, which is what I was using them for. So I'm looking through here to see what else I can find to put inside my little cone. I have these little plastic cases. You've seen these to put like beads for jewelry making and stuff. And I thought I would try to make them look like metal, so they could be little tins that maybe ornaments were stored in. I do sort of a, a not trying type of job. I just wanted to kind of hurry up and try it because I'm running out of time to get this ready for Hans and Millie. They're okay. They didn't really come out how I wanted, but like I said, I just kind of winged it and didn't really try too much. I have zero artistic type skills for decorating the tin, so this part was the hardest part for me. I tried to find something that was pretty simple, but Christmassy, and I came up with this, and I think it's okay. I'm not even going to show you the second one I did because it came out really bad. I tried to add bells. I adorned the edges with this little, greenery here, and that was okay, and I should have just left it like that, but I didn't. But that's all right. You'll see it there. Yeah, I tried to add a ribbon to those bells and it was no good. So I'm actually really happy with the way my ornaments and candles turned out. I'm participating in a collaboration on Friday with some other YouTubers that you know, and we are going to show our Christmas trees. So please come back and visit me Friday in the doll cupboard.